cold this morning.
So this is my journey.
I've never seen it.
I almost sunk the camera trying to do a little crab snare. It's blocked. Crossed. Made a few stops, looked at the flowers. Got my trusty teaspoon of that's very important. Yes, it looks like just a charcoal there. And
Here you go.
haven't put out a video in a while, but it's not for a lack of effort trying. I've been having a great time. I've been fishing on piers. I've been fishing on bores and jetties and coves, but no fish.
Cold this morning.
Same thing happened last year.
It's been raining. It's been raining for, the whole week. Bunch of nice storms. Nice. Fill up the reservoirs. Got to fill up them reservoirs. But that's kept me locking the swells. The swells have been so big. My camera got knocked off my surfboard. Got to remount it before I get any more surf video. Today, I've got to catch some rockfish. Oh yeah. It's been a while. My freezer is empty. And I wanted to go to a lot of places. I did. But I needed a surefire. A little more surefire, hopefully anyway. You never know. It's fishing. Excuse me. It's cold. So I'm here. Montana Day Ore. Well, I decided where I got my biggest cabin iron. I'm hoping swells are going to be small enough, the tide won't rise so fast that we'll be able to catch them. Hey, I've got some big swells. We might not make it. We shall see. Maybe I should have went surfing. Swells are bigger than I hoped. Damn, look at that. Looks pretty nice. That's a pretty wave. And bazoom. Chuck, 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 chuck. Okay, what to do now? Head north?
Yeah, I decided to head north to Cayucos, and if that don't work, tomorrow get up, try it again.
The South Jetty in the morning.
Exactly. So this is my journey so far. Came up from Los Osos, hiked out to the dunes, and crossed up there down south more and took a look at the reefs. Now, we're going to drive up to Cayucos. We're going to cross Villa Beach and see if there's a little protected corner up there I might be able to fish.
Heading over to my old cove, see what we can get over there. Pretty close to high tide. I've never seen a creek coming out of there. How you plovers doing?
Oh, looks like my optimism got the better of me. I should have known with all the rain. Still, it looks like it's 100 yards, but it's actually only about 50 yards wide. And I was hoping that log was stuck, but it was floating. It was deeper than I thought. So, whoop, I almost sunk the camera there. So the journey continued there. I crossed down past Villa Beach and back back into the truck and decided, okay, one more chance. And I went 2 parking lots down. Because a couple weeks ago I tried to make a video shore fishing right in this area. That's the way I went last week, a little further south. Climbed down on this beach here. Here's me trying to do a little crab snaring. I also did a little fishing from a rock there, and I got some pretty good bites. I think I need a little, I think it was perch or jack smelt. But while I was down there, I saw some guys fishing up on these bluffs right here. So I thought it's going to be a protected area. I mean, look, you can see how well and how small the swells are right here, because this area is blocked from the north swell.
Oh, wow.
And in the biggest irony of the whole thing, when I finally found a nice place here to fish, turns out I left my squid at home. I did. I'm just so I'm going to pack it all up and head on home. But before I do that, I'm eating a little chicken here. I brought some for lunch. I was starving. I hadn't eaten a thing all day. So looked like it's South JD in the morning. Still in need of rockfish. That's what I did. Drove into Morro Bay, parked in my usual spot, unloaded the kayak, and crossed the channel, hiked down the beach, got up on the jetty, and tried a little fishing. The journey continues.
Oyster testers, not happy with them. Okay, let's see what we can get.
Well, it was a great journey. I had a great time hiking, but I think I only got 2 bites for all the places I went. So now I'm just left with what to make for dinner. And you know what I'm going to do? I've done it before. You make a pepperoni pizza on the Weber. So went on home, made a few stops, looked at the flowers. Now we're going to make some pizza. I use 2 cups of flour. Got my trusty cup there I've been making pizza with for a while, and it has no handle, but I know that's the right size. Add 2 teaspoons of salt, a nice teaspoon of sugar, and a teaspoon of yeast, and then 2 tablespoons of oil or so. Don't add too much oil. We have really hard tap water, so I use bottled water. That mark there is how much I'm going to dump out with my thumb. And it measures out to about a cup and a third or so. I'll usually fill up the sink about half full with really hot water and let that bottle soak in there so it's very warm, and that'll make the yeast rise really well. Just mix it till it pulls away from the sides. Now we're going to knead the dough for about 5 minutes. If you've got a mixer and a bread hook and you want to let it go and really get that stuff kneaded, that's going to give you the kind of texture you would get at a restaurant too. From what I've seen, a lot of restaurants will make their dough a day ahead of time and put it in the refrigerator to sit for up to 2 or 3 days, and that really lets the dough become one and hydrate. So that's another option. But I'm just going to use this dough tonight, so we're going to put it in the corner there and let it rise 2 or 3 hours. Coat the bottom of the bowl with a little oil so the dough won't stick as it rises there. It'll be easier to get out. So we just put it in the bowl there and set it aside for a little while with a nice plate on it. And I like to let it rise for about 3 hours or so. And when I set up my Weber here, I like to use about 1/3 of lump charcoal and 2/3 of the regular brick charcoal. I think that gives you the best heat. If you use all lump charcoal, you're probably going to burn it unless you turn it every 2 or 3 minutes. You could use all brick charcoal. It might take a little longer. So let's get it started here. That reminds me, I'm supposed to remind you a couple times here that the biggest secret to making barbecue pizza on the Weber is using 2 thick baking sheets. That's going to protect the bottom of your pizza from burning. That's very important. You can do this anytime, but at least a half hour before you start your coals, so the coals will be ready. So the first thing I do is like to punch it on down, and then there's my cooking sheets, baking sheets. There are 2 of them stacked together. They're rather thick. That's going to protect the bottom of the pizza. As I said, you got to remind you again. And I like to put a little corn polenta. You have to put, don't get the regular cornmeal. You got to use the polenta grits. That's a coarse grit. That'll give you that restaurant feel. And you see how I pulled my dough out of there? It's a soft dough, and I'm not really spreading it with my fingers. I'm pulling the thick parts apart. Just kind of pull. I'll mash it in a second here, but at first just pull your edges across. Pull your edges, stretch the dough. That's the fastest way to do it. I've been doing this for a while, and that is how to do it. So in the quick version, yeah, I like to spice the dough. So there you go. I got a little oregano. That's the first spice I like to put on there. A little garlic, onion powder, black pepper. I like to put parsley on there. I think that gives a little depth. And also another way to get your sauce to get a little depth is paprika. I mean, if you got home early and you're cooking some sauce all day, that's going to be the ultimate way to do it. But I think this way kind of helps. Yes, I did. I just put a little squirt of ketchup on there because my sauce is coming right out of a can, and then I need to get that sauce to be a little deep. So I'm going to mix it up with a little ketchup before I put my cheese on. Don't add too much. You don't want it to taste like ketchup. For cheese, usually we would use mozzarella, but lately we've been on a little kick. We'll just put a little cheddar on there and some Monterey Jack. Somebody told me, I can't remember what we're trying to mimic on there, some kind of cheese from back east, but it tastes good either way. Mozzarella is going to give you the stringiness that you need. You may have noticed I didn't actually put any salt down on the dough. I didn't salt it because you're going to get so much salt from your pepperoni, and you can put as many pepperonis as you want. I kind of like to get 2 to 4 per slice, and this is what it looks like just before it goes on. Meanwhile, our fire's out there warming up. We're going to have to go check that pretty soon. Well, filming the recipe here, the pizza, I got a little behind, so the fire is a little more advanced along than I like. I'd like to see a little more black edges around the charcoal there. And notice I put that pizza all the way to the other side of the fire. The back middle, the part closest to the fire, that's where we're worried about burning, and that's why I have 2 baking sheets stacked on top of each other. It's very important. That's how we're going to prevent this thing from burning. And turning it, like this first turn is probably 5 minutes because the fire is at the hottest. After that, every 7 to 10 minutes you got to go out and turn this pizza until it's ready. Obviously, it's very important to keep your lid on to build up heat. So we've been turning it every 10 minutes or so for a while now, and you can see it's almost done. There's a lot of browning in there. I kind of like to have the cheese a little more bubbly brown, but our fire is not as warm as I hope. I think we're going to give this thing maybe 5, 10 more minutes, and it'll be done. Here we go. That's looking very good. It's got some pretty good dark edges. Pizza's, the pepperoni's rolling up. Time to go cut it up. Night. So we've had a couple beers by now, and I forgot to put my overhead light on. That's why it's dark. But you can see I got my pizza roller, and we're going to chop this thing up and munch a little pizza. It doesn't look delicious. I'd say so. Homemade pizza on barbecue, and it's delicious.